Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
Going into the new time, several characters have formed unanticipated alliances. Carly and Valentine have joined forces to take down WSB bigwig Jack Brennan, who just so happens to be Carly's nut. But as observers know, Valentine has an Achilles heel in the form of his cherished son, Charlotte. Will Brennan exploit that vulnerability in Valentine, and will the goods be murderous? Corte and Van Etten suggested Valentine's bond with Charlotte may be the death of him. Brennan has a secret supporter of his own in the form of Nina. But as their undercover cooperation continues, the Penns advised, Nina may discover that the cost is advanced than she can pay. Laura and Sonny are generally on the contrary sides of the law. She's the mayor, and he's the original mob master, but they've a common adversary in Sidwell, who's blackmailing Laura with photographic substantiation entwining her in the murder of Professor Dalton. The Penns participated that when it comes to bringing Sidwell to his knees, any success will be hard-won, adding that Laura will employ drastic measures to help her hubby, Kevin, and her grandson, Ace, from falling victim to Sidwell's dirty games. Speaking of Sidwell, his son, Marco, is getting important satisfaction from working with his pater. To make Sonny pay for what Marco sees as Sonny's part in the death of Marco's mama, Natalia. He wants vengeance now, not latterly, which could prove to be veritably bad news for Sonny, not to mention his love with Lucas. Said Van Etten and Corte, Marco's desirousness has him looking beyond Sidwell to settle the score with Sonny. Meanwhile, Michael teamed up with Jacinda for a good cause, keeping himself out of jail. Jacinda has helped him out by giving him in justification for the night of Drew's firing, but as they kept company to make their relationship and hence Michael's justification legal. Along the way, real passions have bloomed, with Corte and Van Etten describing the Braces' connection as sexy and sincere. Still, they advised, Jacinda is going to be forced to take the stage at Willow's trial, and her decision to lie about Michael's whereabouts on the night of the crime may be their death. Pellet points the whodunit girding Drew's firing has dominated the frontal burner for months, and it looks like all observers' swinging questions will eventually be answered. Willow, of course, is the one who was arrested for plugging 2 pellets into the Solon, who she latterly married. But, revealed Corte and Van Etten, it's amateur investigators Trina and Kai whose disquisition results in relating Drew's shooter as the plot climaxes in tandem with Willow's trial. Suckers should anticipate dramatic and unanticipated consequences to follow from Trina and Kai's discovery, as the Penns declared that what they do with this information will stun observers. The 2 scribes also advised suckers to anticipate fireworks when the jury returns with a decision about Willow's fate, saying, the verdict and its fallout will resonate for times to come. And not just for Willow, they noted no matter what the verdict, Alexis and Scout may wind up disasters. Love on the Jewels Matters of the Heart will also be at the Van in 2026, but do anticipate the course of true love to run smooth. Corte and Van Etten reported that though Britt and Jason will stop denying their magnet, their love faces an immediate handicap in the form of Sidwell's maiden crime. Britt will try to push her passions for Jason down, given the peril she's in, but getting stranded together in a blizzard may make that coming to insolvable. A extremity with Charlotte will push Lulu into Nathan's arms in the new time. The Penns participated that when Lulu's son eludes the Bobbies guarding her, Nathan will help Lulu try to track her down, and they find themselves in a surprising clinch. Lulu catching passions for Maxie's dead hubby seems poised to beget big drama, given that Maxie's slow status, which has lasted 4 months and counting, is due for an upgrade. Assured Van Etten and Corte, Maxie will return in 2026. They also teased that Maxie will find her world much changed when she rejoins the land of the conscious. Given that she doesn't know Nathan is alive, much lower that sparks are flying between him and Lulu, we'd say that's an understatement. Chase and Brooke Lynn have managed to stay above the fray of his determination to prove the innocence of Isaac's wife, Willow. But now that Chase has been suspended from the PCPD and is colliding with Michael, their domestic bliss is veritably important threatened. In light of that, Corte and Van Etten noted, Brooke Lynn admits to misgivings about the couple moving forward with having a baby. Meanwhile, Curtis will keep getting near to Jordan, and he'll also be pressing pregnant Portia for a maternity test, one she might not be eager to grant despite her own deepening bond with her future baby's other possible pop, Isaiah. Secrets are no fun, observers no commodity. The people of Port Charles do ent, videlicet, that Anna is being held hostage at Windmere. The Pens disclosed that Anna's dilemma gets indeed more dire when she's called on by a voice from her history, and that while the tricky heroine attempts to flee from her convicts, they've a plan B in place. Not only that, but when Emma, Mac and Felicia come together to try to deliver Anna, it sounds like the results aren't relatively what the family was hoping for. Van Etten and Cortez suggested, what happens coming will prove traumatic for the Scorpios, therefore Drew has managed to avoid any blowback for leaving Ned to die when his kinsman suffered a massive heart attack in November. But his luck is going to run out, say Cortez and Van Etten, because that Verity will come to light, putting him in an all too familiar spot, his fuming family's line of fire. Tracy is ready to take Drew down, but she'll have to take a number, they teased. And lest it appear that all this conspiracy and chaos isn't going to affect the show's teens, well, that's far from the case. According to Van Etten and Cortez, Charlotte considers going full Cassadine after a treason, egging Danny to conduct his father, Jason, as he rallies to her side, while Rocco is at the center of a new surge of drama, and is the catalyst for a string of events that will affect in the departure of one citizen of Port Charles. And dire consequences for others. In the Q forces, Cody decorated for the new time and asked Outback what he allowed. Cody was dissatisfied when Molly called and told him that she wouldn't be suitable to meet up with him after all. She was called into work to write a plea deal for one of Justine's cases. Cody tried to be realistic and told Molly that they could just pretend it was New Year's Eve another time and celebrate also. You do what you got to do, ADA Lansing Davis. I will see you in the new time, a sad Cody said. Outback barked at Cody after he hung up, egging Cody to realize he was giving up too fluently. In her apartment, Trina was ready to toast to a new time, with Gio, Emma, and Kai joining her. Emma refocused out that the time was not each bad as she looked at Gio. Trina wasn't keen on going to the Savoy and conceivably running into one of her parents, so the council kiddies decided to stay in for the evening. That is when Emma got a call from Cody asking her to watch Outback. Gio decided to join her, so Kai and Trina were left to their own bias. Kai asked Trina what she wanted to pour herself into the most in 2026. Art. It always goes back to that, Trina said. Trina was agitated about graduating and continuing her art studies. She also showed Kai her favorite piece of art, a print of them in front of the tempura they made last spring. When Emma and Gio got to the forces, they set up Cody packing up all his New Year's Eve decorations and favors so he could bring the party to Molly. He left Emma and Gio alone with Outback and a bottle of champagne. Emma cut right to the chase and asked Gio about his new violin. While Gio was thankful for the gift and the chance to make Tracy happy, playing again still did not feel right. I feel like there's so important distance between the person that I was and the person I'm now. I just do not know what person that violin is a part of, Gio confessed. He said playing did not feel like it used to. I do not know if it ever will, Gio soughed. Emma reminded Gio that his music did not just come from Camilla, but it came from inside him. Whether you rediscover that or you no way play the violin again, you are still going to be an inconceivable person, Emma claimed. They also kissed under the fireworks to ring in the new time. Molly was surprised and thrilled when Cody arrived for their little NYE festivity. She snappily put him to work so she could prepare her plea deal briskly. Molly finished in record time so that they could start their two-person party. Cody mentioned how it was nice to see Molly in her element. Cody told Molly he was blown down by how smart she was. Your mind is so presto, the way that you just have these $10 words come out of your mouth like it's normal, he said. Molly wondered if Cody had spent a lot of plutocrat on their plans, but he said that his plans were just stay by and be with her. Molly also put on some music so they could dance and kiss as the new time began. As Molly began to undress Cody, he refocused out that they were in her master's office. Molly did not watch, so neither did Cody. Lulu brought Nathan a thermos of hot coffee as she stood on her veranda in the cold wave, looking out for Valentine. However, so am I, Lulu said, if you are determined to keep watch on New Year's Eve. As they got to talking, Lulu admitted that Nathan might be right, perhaps Valentine is not coming for Charlotte, she said. While she said the study was a relief, she had also gotten used to having Nathan around. The two sat down to talk about their missing times. I missed out on 4 times of my life and also you go and steal my thunder and raise me 7, Lulu joked. I did not do it on purpose, Nathan responded. Lulu was glad she had set up effects to base her and had hoped Nathan had done the same. Lulu was suitable to accept that Dante was a part of her life, but not someone to keep her predicated, because so important had changed when she was in her coma. I do not know if I can lean on him the way I formerly did, she said. Nathan also felt a little misplaced and was not sure how he and Maxie would fit into each other's lives when she woke. Both of them told the other what they were thankful for as the fireworks started to ring in the new time. Jordan settled down with some champagne in her apartment just in time for Curtis to arrive. I was hoping we could marshal in the new time together, he said. Jordan invited Curtis in and poured him a glass of champagne. Curtis said that he'd been on his way to the party at the Savoy, but realized he did not want to be there. He wanted to be with Jordan. Jordan admitted she had been mooting about calling Curtis. But with everything that had been going on in court, I did not want to push it, Jordan said. Curtis told her he still wanted to try again, but knew that would be a hard ask. It comes with Portia and all the drama a baby can bring, he said, before admitting he wished he were having a child with Jordan. I went into this with my eyes wide open when I assumed the baby was yours, and I'll be by your side whether that changes or not, Jordan assured. Curtis also apologized for how he treated Jordan when they were married. As for Selena Wu, I did not hire her because of you. I did not want to risk the future we might have, Curtis confessed. Curtis said that what happened in court crystallized everything for me. He knew his future was with Jordan. Eventually, the former consorts took effects to the bedroom. Jason was surprised when Britt meanly walked into the Q kitchen while he sat with a beer. She told him that it was both her birthday and the anniversary of her alleged death, and she wanted to celebrate. I do not want to mark either of those occasions alone, she said. Jason allowed. The idea of celebrating was morbid, plus he'd to point out that Britt was still in peril. I know that you are working with Sidwell and they are using your drug as influence against you and you will not indeed let me help, Jason said. A frustrated Britt picked up her bag to leave, but Jason told her not to go. He asked what she had in mind for the evening. Britt wanted to go to the Savoy to dance. Jason baffled at such an idea, so Britt suggested just going to the Brown Dog for some beers. Jason eventually admitted that he did not suppose he could be the company Britt demanded. Jason explained that he watched about Britt and wanted her to be okay. Do you really not see that? Jason asked. Britt refocused out that she was a train wreck, but Jason did not see her that way. He formally again stressed that he wanted to help Britt. As the fireworks began, Britt had a concession to make. I am done tonight because in the chaos of my life, the person I want to be around is you. When I am with you, my life does not feel so chaotic, she said with a smile. Jason put his hand to Britt's impertinence and said, Happy birthday, Britt, before kissing her to ring in the new time. Carly brought Valentine a bottle of champagne and 2 spectacles. Are you then to poison me? He asked. I would, but fresh out of polonium, she fooled. She indeed said that Jack picked out the champagne before getting called down on business, important to Carly's relief. Are you tired of playing the woman that is still in love with Jack or are you upset that you are not playing the part at all? Valentine asked. He refocused out that it can be delicate to separate between what was fake and what was real. My love for my son makes me able of anything, Carly claimed. Valentine noted that they had that in common and that's why she brought Charlotte to him. He thanked her for that, with Carly stressing that Lulu would no way speak to her again if she learned what Carly had done. Carly advised Valentine that his plan demanded to work and he agreed. Jack needs to go, he said plainly. Carly also told Valentine she'd not let him go on the run again with Charlotte, but that was not what Valentine wanted. I want Charlotte back in my life and Lulu's fears are unsupported. The choices I have made my life complicated. It's fine for me, but not for Charlotte, and I am lucky she has her mama to go to, Valentine said. He felt that with Jack out of the way, he could be vindicated and he could rebuild a proper life for himself and Charlotte. He added that he had no intention of taking Charlotte from her mama. Valentine was surprised that Carly was one of the many people who talked to him like he was a parent. As opposed to what? A felonious? Beget you are, but I am used to hanging out with culprits, she joked. Indeed, culprits can love their children, and from what I have seen, Charlotte loves you veritably much. As the New Year's Eve fireworks began, Valentine was thankful he was not locked in a jail cell and could see the sky. I am watching fireworks, and I got to see my son, the son I got to clinch because of you. And that makes you someone I owe, and I recognize my debts, he said. Port Charles has survived mob wars, serial killers, secret twins, and devastating betrayals, but nothing could have prepared its residents for the emotional earthquake now rocking the city. In a twist so shocking it leaves even longtime viewers reeling, Curtis Ashford is dead, the tragic result of Drew Kane's brutal attack, and just when the town begins to process that loss, Jordan Ashford's pregnancy is revealed, turning grief into something even more complicated, heartbreak laced with cruel irony. What should have been a moment of hope, a baptism meant to symbolize new beginnings, instead becomes the backdrop for devastation, fury, and vows of revenge that may change General Hospital forever. The baptism that should have brought peace. The ceremony begins quietly, solemnly, with the soft echo of prayer filling the chapel. Candles flicker. Loved ones gather. The baptism is meant to be a reminder that even in a city cursed by violence and betrayal, life continues, and faith can still exist. But there is an undeniable heaviness in the air. Curtis Ashford should have been there, smiling proudly, cracking gentle jokes, grounding everyone with his steady presence. Instead, his absence screams louder than any spoken word. Portia Robinson struggles to hold herself together, her hands trembling as she watches the ceremony unfold. Every blessing spoken feels like a cruel reminder of what has already been lost. Marshall Ashford bows his head, grief etched deep into his face. Trina Robinson clings to her mother, her tears falling silently as memories of Curtis flood her mind, the man who always believed in her, who protected her, who never walked away. And Jordan. Jordan stands frozen, her expression unreadable, carrying a secret that will soon shatter the fragile calm. Curtis' final hours, and Drew's role in his death. Behind the scenes, whispers grow louder. The truth about Curtis' final moments refuses to stay buried. What began as a confrontation escalated into something far darker. Drew Kane, already unraveling under the weight of secrets and pressure, crossed a line he can never step back from. Words turned heated. Accusations flew. And then, violence. Curtis didn't see it coming. The attack was sudden, brutal, and reckless. Curtis fought to survive, but the injuries were catastrophic. By the time help arrived, it was already too late. Doctors did everything they could, but the damage was irreversible. Curtis Ashford, soldier, businessman, protector, father figure, died because of Drew Kane's actions. And Port Charles will never be the same. Encouraging words that can't heal the wound. In the aftermath, friends and family attempt to hold each other together with words meant to comfort, but no sentence feels strong enough. Portia hears endless reassurances. He knew how much you loved him. He would want you to be strong. He's at peace now. But peace feels like a lie when rage still burns. Trina, shattered by grief, struggles to accept a future without Curtis. Her world feels unrecognizable, and every encouraging word feels hollow when justice hasn't been served. Marshall tries to be the voice of calm, reminding his family that hatred will only consume them, but even he struggles to follow his own advice. And Jordan? Jordan hears none of it. Because Jordan knows something they don't. Jordan's secret, a life growing amid death. As the baptism concludes, Jordan feels dizzy. Her hand instinctively moves to her stomach. The truth she's been hiding becomes impossible to ignore. Jordan is pregnant. Curtis' child. A child he will never meet. The revelation hits her like a second death. Jordan didn't plan to reveal the pregnancy this way. She didn't even know how she would tell Curtis, how she would explain that despite their complicated history, a piece of him would live on. Now that chance is gone forever. The cruel timing feels almost unbearable, a life beginning just as another is taken away. The revelation that shatters the room. The truth finally comes out in the most dramatic way possible. Jordan collapses. At General Hospital, doctors confirm what no one expected. As the room fills with stunned faces, the words hang in the air like a thunderclap. Jordan is pregnant. Silence follows. Portia gasps. Trina breaks down. Marshall's knees nearly buckle. The realization sinks in slowly, painfully. Curtis is gone, but his child remains. Grief collides with hope in the most brutal way imaginable. Anger erupts, and blame finds its target. As word spreads, grief transforms into fury. Drew Kane's name becomes a curse whispered through hospital hallways and shouted behind closed doors. The man once seen as a hero is now viewed as a monster, someone whose reckless choices destroyed an entire family. Portia's restraint finally snaps. Her rage is raw, unfiltered, and dangerous. You took him from us, she spits, her voice shaking. And now his child will grow up without a father because of you. Trina's heartbreak turns to hatred. She wants answers. She wants consequences. She wants Drew to feel even a fraction of the pain he caused. Marshall, usually the peacemaker, delivers a warning so cold it chills everyone who hears it. Justice will come, he says. One way or another. Angry threats and vows of revenge. Port Charles becomes a pressure cooker. Curtis' death doesn't just create grief, it ignites vendettas. Jordan, though fragile and grieving, finds a new source of strength in the life growing inside her. She vows that Curtis' child will know who their father was, and who took him away. If the system fails, she warns, her voice icy, I won't. Behind the scenes, allies begin choosing sides. Old friendships fracture. Old enemies sense opportunity. And Drew realizes too late that he may have unleashed something far more dangerous than he ever imagined. The baptism's true meaning, a beginning or a curse? The baptism that opened this tragic chapter was meant to symbolize rebirth and forgiveness. Instead, it becomes a haunting reminder that in Port Charles, new beginnings often come wrapped in tragedy. Curtis' legacy now rests not only in memories, but in a child who will grow up surrounded by love and the truth. A truth that may one day demand answers. A truth that may one day demand revenge. What comes next for Port Charles? With Curtis gone, Jordan pregnant, and Drew facing the consequences of his actions, General Hospital is poised for one of its darkest arcs yet. Will Drew be held accountable, or will someone take justice into their own hands? Can Jordan protect her unborn child from the storm gathering around them? And will Curtis' death become the spark that ignites an all-out war in Port Charles? One thing is certain. This tragedy is only the beginning. Port Charles will mourn. Port Charles will rage. And Port Charles will never forget Curtis Ashford.